Hello, everybody. Welcome to MLR Tonight, the first episode hosted by me and Mr. Kevin Arianna. Say hi, Kevin.
Hey guys.
All right, so audio should be good. Everything should be peachy. I hope you guys liked the very fun intro we got there. That's only the beginning of our graphical prowess today. Um, yeah, we're gonna be discussing mainly we're gonna start with a lot of Session 8 games. We're just gonna go through the Session 8 games. Gonna see which ones ended, which ones are close to ending. It should be up to date on like the results and stuff, but if not, I'm sorry. I have classes and stuff, and classes are hard, and doing preparing while having classes is very hard. But yeah. Anyway, Kevin, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, man?
I'm doing awful, but let's not talk about that. Yeah, I just finished watching a very interesting MLB game,
Yeah.
and it just solidified my hatred for real baseball. So I just need to delve into fake baseball and
Are you done
really.
already? You done with the season already? It's open
I
today.
It is a complete overreaction, but I am 100% hashtag fire Gabe Kapler. Ugh, that fucking that substitution. Yeah, but we're gonna be going into the game so far. You might be used to Kyle Corbett doing this. We're gonna be taking over for him today, and if we don't fall on our faces, we might do it even more. Um, I guess. Okay, I guess our audio is okay because nobody's complained yet. I don't want to like start something and then just have it be like, well, just kidding. You're fucking nobody can hear you. You got to start over
Yeah.
again. Yeah, but I think we're gonna start with probably my favorite game, and that is Philadelphia versus St. Louis. That one just ended with a 4-1 win. Philadelphia wins over the Cardinals. At least one Phillies team can do it. Let me tell you. How about you, Kevin? How about you talk about this game? What did you expect and what happened?
So I think a lot of this is going to be us kind of seeing what we said last week.
That is true.
And and just kind of, seeing how the games went and how you know, how right or wrong we were. But basically for this game, I think what I said was something along the lines of if the Phillies, do end up rallying here and get the win, that they can kind of snowball this into more success on their season. And I still believe that. The Cardinals had to lose sometime. They had 5 wins in a row, a crazy amount of wins in a row. But I don't think this is, I don't think this is going to completely halt their momentum, their success, whatever. I think they've got a good team, and it's a loss, but wasn't too bad of a game. I don't think.
Yeah, I do remember you being pretty optimistic about the Phillies' chances in this game. I certainly was for some reason. I'd like to bring up though Willie Dustis. Willie has been pretty under the radar recently in this season, and he's hit 2 home runs in this game. He was pretty much the offensive force starting out this game early on. Later we had Moog Mufessor, who's had struggles in the beginning of the season. He hit a double to score Jameson Wells, and then the top of the 5 continued with a sac fly from Fly Spaceman, who brought in Tommy Brown. A lot of rookie names on this Phillies squad compared to last season, and seems like they're delivering pretty well. It didn't end with a shutout because the St. Louis Cardinals ended up getting a run on a ground out by Brent Royal to score George Ewell. But overall, I mean, I have to be very proud of my guys. I mean, they've recently, even with the loss last session, I feel like they've been sort of revitalizing their offensive abilities. I mean, there's a big time there where like the Phillies offense was a laughing
Oh
stock,
God. Oh
and
God.
now we're getting a lot of young guys who have never hit home runs. They're starting to show the power. We had a Zach Anderson hit a home run last session. Charlie Bay Jr. hit a home run last session, and then now we see Willie Dustis hit 2 home runs, and it's just. I'm really happy with this team. Obviously, the Cardinals. I fucking love the Cardinals. I think they're just like my favorite non-Phillies team, just as far as like personalities and just I really like them. So if I had to beat a team, it probably wouldn't be them. But I'm glad that we were able to show up against a very strong Cardinals team. I do wish them the best. But yeah, I think. What else do you have to say? I mean, we had Oliver
Well,
Yu pitch a very good game.
yeah. what I was gonna say is, for Willie Dustis, I think it's hard to gain a lot of recognition in the catcher role throughout the MLR because I don't know. I just feel like there's so many good and maybe this might just be it being my position, and me just paying attention to that more. But I feel like there's a lot of good catchers in the MLR. So that might be a little bit why he's flown under the radar. But with these 2 home runs, hopefully he'll be getting the. Were they solo homers or? Oh
Yeah,
no!
yeah, they were. Yeah, they
Oh
were.
yeah, because he had 2 RBIs. Yeah. Yeah, it was a really good game. What were we gonna say about Oliver pitching?
I think that Oliver Yu is really breaking in. I mean, I have the privilege of being specifically watching him, so it's easy for me to keep track of him. But if you look at his last few starts, I mean, he started against Arizona. His last time, he gave up 1 run in the beginning of the game, then didn't give up a single hit afterwards. He went 4 innings in that, one run, 1 hit. And then he comes into a game against the Cardinals. He pitches 5 innings, gives up 0 runs. It was good. It was a good outing for you, and I think he's starting to solidify himself as something of a solid pitcher in this league. I mean, it's National League, but
Yeah. One other thing I'll say, and maybe you can help me keep track of this while we go through these games, is the rookie on the Cardinals side, Omega. Debuting with a.
Did you say debuting?
Yeah, debuting. Isn't that how you say it?
It's debuting.
Oh my god, debuting. Oh, because you say debut, it's their debut.
Dude.
It's not their debut.
Okay.
I guess I never thought about that. Who is he? A Charlie Omega? I don't know what the hell his first name is, but Omega in his first game debuting, 3 at bats, no hits. He had kind of a rough day, and I think that rookies in general didn't have a very good game. If I'm remembering correctly, looking through all these games, they kind of struggled a little bit. The first game, sorry, not rookie. I guess people that are debuting. That's just what I noticed, like clicking through some of the games. So maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But that's the first example I see of it. You said on the Phillies, you said you had a couple of rookies. Is that what you said?
We have a lot of like new guys. I was just talking about how that I've revamped the team pretty hard in the last I guess season, and I mean I'd like to turn attention especially to guys like Tommy Brown who who has a 600 average. He's started his last few games. He just picked up. Had a good game his last game, and he just picked it up again and hit 2 for 3. So I'm proud of him. And yeah, I feel like Zach Anderson's also a really good one. Though he had a pretty rough game, but he also hit a home run in his debut against the Giants. So yeah, I mean we have a good amount of young new guys that have really shown up recently. Charlie Bay Jr. is another example.
Yeah, it was a good game for y'all.
Yeah, it was. I can't complain. As far as the All-Star implications of this game, I mean, Logan Ninefingers was seen as like the Cardinals' leading man when it comes to the All-Star game, but he had a pretty tough game, 0 for 3 with a strikeout.
I think that was also sort of a trend. This session is a lot of the games that had All-Star game implications, especially people that were considered either front runners or like literally runner-ups in their races for All-Star game, didn't do very well. And I'm sure we'll run into a couple more, but like you said, Logan Ninefingers. I know off the top of my head, Barney Summers went 0-3, and we can talk about that later. So just stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know how much it'll actually affect the voting, because I think Pop said that there was still like 20 or 25 very active people that hadn't voted yet, me included in that. And he said that was still enough to swing all but one of the races. So I'm sure it matters. How much?
I had brought up an idea that it didn't really gain, or at least like Pops kind of ignored me on it, but I don't blame him. I've been especially annoying recently, but I brought up that it'd be kind of cool to have 3 rounds of voting for the All-Star game for Session 7, Session 8, and Session 9, and they get aggregated, and like So you vote for like the best players at each time, and like maybe one player gets ahead, and it leads to like a more whole race in my opinion, because a lot of guys, me included, I'll admit that I voted way too early, but a lot of guys voted pretty early, and I feel like their votes might not reflect the game for session 9. I mean, I'm actually surprised about how many people did actually abstain, which kind of helps the current system right now. But I think it'd be kind of dramatic and interesting if we had like 3 separate sessions of results with like like the results are delivered after each session. And it's like, okay, well, this guy has it right now, but will he have it next session? And we can have like drum rolls and shit. But I'm the guy who does the player of the session shit, so I really like results and votes and fun stuff like that.
Well, that'd be cool, especially if we, tracked it and gave the results after every single one. You could kind of see like how close it was. Yeah, that sounds cool.
Who's like rising up in the ranks, and it will be like more whole for each session. Like each session will get like 100 votes. I don't know how many.
But then again, I think it's also kind of cool that we go into it not blind, because I think didn't Pops give like a All-Star game update or something recently, like where he said who was leading? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I'm excited either way.
Yeah, so the Phillies win 4-1 over St. Louis, and we're gonna continue down the National League ladder with Pittsburgh at Los Angeles with the Pirates versus the Dodgers. That game was a Pittsburgh victory, 10-6. Any surprises here, Kevin?
A lot of offense in this game. 15 hits by the Pirates, 12 by the Dodgers.
Yeah, Corbett was talking about that. Is that a record?
I don't know. I don't know if that's a record, because I know there was I think there was another game this session that came close to that even.
Oh, really?
The Blue Jays and the.
Oh yeah, you're right. We'll get to that
Minnesota. One. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's a very offensive heavy game. Did this game have any All-Star game implications? I think. Maxo.
Lumix Bach is a big one.
Oh yeah,
because the NL first base race is fucking insane. When it comes to Bach and Forehead Jones and fucking who else is it? There's another guy who's like really into that, like in the fray, and Bach ended up delivering 2 for 4 with 5 RBIs and a home run. So he's really making his case late on.
Oh yeah, I guess it is Bach and Forehead Jones.
There's also Lumix, who he had an okay day. 2 RBIs, 1 for 4. That's not bad, but also 2 strikeouts.
Gare's in that conversation, right? Gare Doctor.
It's I would say so, because it's a pretty. I'd say compared to the AL, it's a pretty weak catcher race, because the AL has a fucking stacked pool of catchers, and then the NL has Andrew Pop, which I would say is ahead of Doctor right now. Mm-hmm. Who else do they have? The AL. I mean, the NL is.
I think that's pretty much it. I think it's Doc Gare and Andrew Pop, and then George. George is in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah, George. That was the name I was thinking of. George is pretty good, but I don't know if he'll get it, to be honest.
George is good at campaigning, I think. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening with that race, but Gare didn't have a bad game. No, I don't really think hitters in general had a bad game in this game. There was just so much offense. One name that I was a little bit, not surprised, but interested to see was, I don't even know how to say his name, Ike. I don't know. Ike Imtiaz.
There you go.
That, I have not seen his name in so long. I don't know.
He used to be so vocal.
Yeah, I know. I remember. So vocal. I remember when we started, and he was just all over Twitter, and but he had an awful game. He's not been playing well this season, but it was just interesting to see that. Scotty Smalls, pretty good player.
Scotty Smalls is, I think he's going to be a starting outfielder, and I feel like he has to.
Yeah, I mean he's playing out of his mind right now, and I think it also helps that LA doesn't have that many other options.
Well, I mean the one thing that LA is able to do well is offense, and also the more I look at this lineup, the more I see a lot of all-star potential players.
Oh.
I mean, Valentino Sanchez.
Yeah, Sanchez. Sorry, I've missed that one.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as offense, this was a great game, but as far as pitching, I mean, Brady McElroy, I mean, ouch. He's had a lot of trouble. 10 earned runs in 5 innings pitched,
Yeah.
7.44 R6. What do you think about the pitching in this game?
Bad. I think we were talking about it last episode, and we were, I don't know, hesitant about Brady starting here. He did have a good game in his debut against it was the Brewers, I think, and then after that, he pitched again, and it wasn't great. So we were really, looking forward to seeing how he was going to do this game, and if he was going to be consistently decent, or if he was, But I think that kind of answered our question.
I don't know what's going on with that Los Angeles scouting department, but they need to focus a lot on those pitchers, because this is just something that seems to happen every single session with them, and they have just such a good offense that's kind of being wasted with this this poor pitch choices that have been going on with these pitchers. I do hope them the best, though, because I mean, there's a lot of guys on there that definitely deserve to be in a playoff contending team.
God, 14 hits, that hurts.
But also, if you look on the other side, I mean, 11 hits for Talia Skrayok, who I think was having his major league debut there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they got the win, but at what cost? I mean, 6 earned runs, 2 walks. I mean, it wasn't a great day for the 8.31 R6 young pitcher there.
Yeah, look at that R/6 for all those pitchers. God, that just hurts.
Pittsburgh is interesting. I think these teams are very comparable, because Pittsburgh is basically Los Angeles. If Los Angeles also had like a really giant, amazing ace in their back pocket in the form of Darth Vader. Because Darth Vader is amazing, but then Pittsburgh has these 2 other young pitchers that they've been trying to just get those innings for them, get them to get used to the game, and it hasn't really been working out for them recently. But I mean, just having Darth Vader has really changed the team from what could be a 3-4 team like the Dodgers to a 4-3 team like they are right now.
Yeah.
Anything else about this game?
No, I think we kind of went. Was there any? No, I guess we went through the All-Star game implications.
A lot of All-Star game implications.
Yeah, I was gonna say for the pitchers, but that's not gonna happen.
Maybe someday. I feel like the Dodgers, they just need to focus. I know Gino was looking heavily into just getting a lot of free agents and just getting a lot of new bodies into that clubhouse, and I think that he just needs to continue working on that pitching, and he needs to sort of look. I'm not gonna like reveal too many managing strategies, because I am a National League rival in a sense, but just be more internal. That's all I have to say. He has to be more internal.
Cool.
Okay, so after that game, we're gonna go to a game that's kind of dear to Kevin's heart, I guess. It is his former MLR team versus his real life MLB team. The Brewers versus the Nationals. We have a 7-2 victory for the Brewers with a win from Dan Grisone. Does that surprise you?
No. When we were talking about this, on MLR Tonight 2 weeks ago, I guess, we were saying how this is going to be a huge, pitchers matchup. Hudson Hildebrandt versus Dan Grisone, and we were finally going to see who deserves the blah 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 All-Star game. I kind of just said, it doesn't. It's not as big of a matchup as you think. The Nationals offense has been struggling, and Dan's going to have an easy game, and that's kind of what ended up happening. He did give up 2 runs, but they were at the end of the game, and I wouldn't say that the Nationals were exactly like rallying or anything. They
were playing loose.
It's I don't know. It was an easy game for Dan. I don't. It looked good for them at the beginning. Just kind of looking at it. Hildebrandt's a good pitcher, and I know you were talking Hildebrandt up a lot on that last episode.
I won't anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but Dan's just too good, man. The Nationals got to do something to find their, find some offensive spark and get that going. Because it's hard to win games, It's hard to win games when you're not scoring runs. Right, obvious, but yeah.
Yeah, Hildebrandt's just a victim of the small sample size, because he had about 13 innings pitched going into this game, and he had a very good R6 ERA. And now he's given up 5 runs in 4 innings pitched, and that's probably going to drop him off the map, to be honest. I mean, I know I've been talking to my fellow National League All-Star Game managers about Hildebrandt, about how he could possibly have a chance, but I'm thinking that's not really an option right now. This was the game he had to do well in, and he had 6 strikeouts, which is pretty good. He's still a good strikeout pitcher, but he also had 3 walks, 5 earned runs. It was a hard time for him, and I think I don't think he's going to be going into the All-Star game. He might, because the Nationals do need a representative, but I think he just needs to try to dust this off and look forward to the end of the season. Maybe try to get a reward, an award in that aspect. As far as the offense here, I mean, it's hard to look at this box score because the batting averages are all zeros or
yeah. I don't know what happened there.
So some umps do not want to fuck with that, which I understand, but I don't really fuck with it. But I usually put up the average at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, offenses were pretty. The Brewers' offense was pretty decent, and then the Nationals' offense did end up showing up in the form of Osmosis Jones, who hit an RBI. What was it? It was a hit. An RBI single to make it 7-2. What do you? The Nationals, they won their last game. It seemed like they were going into some sort of upswing, but I mean, the Brewers versus the Diamondbacks. I mean, the Brewers are a better team, so obviously they had to bring more into the game, and I don't think they were able to really deliver. I feel like something has to be done with this lineup. I don't exactly know what, but I wish them the best of luck in trying to figure this out.
Yeah, there's definitely some work to be done, especially because their pitching hasn't been bad, or it hasn't been awful or anything this season. I think it's really just the offense that's been consistently struggling. One other thing that I want to point out is on the Brewers side, I don't think the Brewers offense gets enough recognition, and I think it's fair because they're very on and off. They're very hot and cold. You'll have games where they, get shut out. I think they've gotten shut out twice this season, and then, or maybe just once. And then, you'll have games where they scored 9, like on the Rockies, or 7 here. There's a lot of good offensive guys on that team, like they're James Masso and James Earl Pones. James Earl Pones has 4 or 5 home runs on the season now.
James Earl Pones is very interesting because he was involved in the Sonny Streaker trade to the New York Mets at the time, and I feel like James Earl Pones was he at one time was a throw-in for Sonny Streaker. To be honest, I feel like that's what he was considered, and now he's turned out to be a very solid player. He got another Player of the Game in this one. I think that's his second one, and I don't know. He's a very surprising player.
Yeah, no, he's very good. Bohorst, Jackman, Spaghetti Hitchens, 2 catchers that are just, offensive machines on that team. Yeah, this team has a lot more than just Dan, and I think people will start seeing that more as they start winning
Dan
games.
Garzone with that 6 strikeout game with the 2 earned runs, that's not that bad. I feel like he needed to have a solid outing here to basically solidify himself into the All-Star game. I think he did it with this outing. Unless he comes out, I don't know. Do the Brewers still have a second pitcher? I know they've had troubles with
Yeah, they do. They do. They have Ron Swanson, and they actually traded for another one when they traded.
Ron Swanson is he's not on the roster anymore, so I wonder what happened there. Yeah, but Logan Anderson, I know what you're talking about. I feel like the Brewers need to start Logan Anderson here. I think they can't afford Dan having a really bad game, giving up 6 runs, and then suddenly his All-Star game basically becomes less of a lock-in and more of a question mark.
So you said the GMs are deciding that, right? For the pitchers? Or I don't know. How does that...
Up until today, this afternoon, that was the idea and we were discussing it, but then apparently Tim said that the GMs overall are voting on it. I mean, I thought it was going to be the committee that was voted in that was going to decide it. Yeah. I strongly disagree with what's going on here, but I mean, it's not in my position to.
Well, the only reason I ask is because can Dan fuck up next game and still make it? I don't know what the timing is with you all with that. Like I know by what is it, like 3 days into this next session, the votes for the other people are going to be locked in, right? I think that's what Pop said.
Oh, I just realized Swanson's on the hiatus list, so that's where he was.
Yeah, he's on hiatus. Yeah, but yeah, they have 3 pitchers now because of that. Yeah, and then what is it? Who is it? Anderson?
Yeah, Logan. He's interesting. He's like one of those. He's one of them pitchers. We've gotten into this like really interesting place in the league where we just have like a lot of names that but like you're waiting to break out, and they're kind of like journeymen right now, and like I something about that's really cool. I mean, we can have like stars everywhere, but something about like the journeymen who are like not entirely out there yet, but they're like hungry and they're waiting.
Yeah.
And
they get thrown into trades, just to swing the deals.
Like J Money was a big one. Just like I love like small trades that like add a lot to a team without like blowing the bank or like making people double take. Something about them are really interesting. Like people know what their utilities are, and like it's cool.
What I'm looking forward to is once we get a little bit more, sessions under our belt and maybe even seasons, we'll see. Which people are going to be, like hometown heroes and just kind of be on the same team for a good amount of time, and which people are just going to be kind of traded around. And like Sunny Streaker has been on 5 teams or something this whole season.
I filled out his fake baseball reference page a few days ago, and I did his transactions, and it's very interesting how often he's been thrown around. He went from the Twins to the Mets, and then the Mets changed to the Brewers. So then he went from the Brewers to the Phillies, and then he went from the Phillies to the Giants, and then he went from the Giants to the Indians, and then he got waived, and then he got put on the Nationals, who subsequently traded him to the Rangers. So he's on the Rangers.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know the last part.
Yeah, he recently got waived by the Indians, and then the Nationals claimed him and then flipped him for scouting stuff. Which I actually claimed him because I wanted to get him back because I had discussions with the Rangers GM, so I wanted to like make sure like it would go through if I wanted to, so I was gonna throw it in for good measure.
Yeah.
Just as an extra to make sure everything would be okay. But yeah, 7-2 Milwaukee over Washington. Milwaukee's a very interesting team in my opinion. I think that the next few sessions are going to be very interesting to see if they are a good team or like a mediocre team. If they can rise to be a playoff team, or if they are going to maybe fade into a 500 season or even below. It's going to be interesting to see. I don't know what their we'll have their session 9 later, so we'll see what their future holds.
We'll see.
But next game, and it's not the last game in the National League. Padres versus Diamondbacks.
I think the main thing that we said about this game is the All-Star game implications, because 2 teams that are struggling. Depending on how this game went, you could argue that they could take the momentum and just keep it going. But I remember us saying that the All-Star game implications for this game were huge with Forehead Jones, who ended up going 0-3, 0-3, and then Garen Smudge, who he had a hit with an RBI. He didn't walk, which I'm disappointed about. That guy is an on-base machine. I love that.
But yeah, 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, he did. He did. Yeah, what do you think about this game, just in general?
I like how Hopkins completely like got rid of the averages. He was like, "I'm not fucking with that," to the point where I'm not even going to show it.
Yeah.
I'd like to discuss like one player in particular, and I think that this is a testament to how Doc hasn't given up trying to improve his lineup. Doc being the Arizona GM, and that's Andrew Dreschler. He's been a very interesting person to watch. He had a pretty good first game. I know he got a hit in his first game, and he comes in here. He has 2 for 4, and he ends up he ends up doing getting the tying run in the bottom of the 7th on a double. So he like the Padres took the lead in the top of the seventh, and it's like, oh well, looks like the Diamondbacks are gonna lose. But he was like, nope, I'm not doing that. And he got a double, a very clutch double, and he ended up tying the game, and then Gil Metz ended up winning the game, and he also had a home run, so he had a very very good game, and I feel like if he just had more time, if he joined a few sessions early and maybe bolstered these numbers, just think of he could have been an all-star, in all-star contention, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree with you in general about what you said about Doc. I mean, he's still.
I love Doc.
I
wanted
think
him to be my number 3, but it wasn't meant to be.
I think oh God, what's his name? I think Monster Mash is still. If he weren't on hiatus right now, he'd probably still be starting. So I definitely agree with what you said about him giving people chances, and
Well, we know that each team has to have an all-star game representative. We figure that the Padres are gonna have Forehead Jones, but what do you think about the Diamondbacks?
That's actually interesting though, because I don't know the exact numbers. If Forehead Jones goes in as, I don't know, he's first baseman, right? If he goes in as first baseman, will that push another person out if they have I don't exactly understand how that works, to be honest.
I'm not entirely sure either. I just know that everybody needs to have representation. So there might be a point where the best player in a position may not get the position, just simply by virtue of another player on their team already having another position. But also, Forehead Jones DH is a lot, and there is a DH in the in the team, so I feel like that could be a possibility for him.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that ends up working out. But yeah, Smudge. For me, it's Smudge on the Diamondbacks. I mean, I talk him up a lot. I love his stats. I love looking at him. He's a good player. He walked he walked 3 times one game or something, and it was sick. I don't know. I just love it. I hope he keeps doing well. I think Doc has done well to put him at the start of the lineup and just
I'm a big Dom Stakes supporter, to be honest, especially with the very shallow shortstop pool in National League, at least from what I've understood. I think Dom Stakes is probably the best shortstop in the National League with his 2 home runs, two doubles, a 398 average right now. And it's not like this is a small sample size because he has 22 plate appearances. I think if anybody goes on to the team when it comes to the Diamondbacks, I definitely think Dom Stakes has the biggest chance. I mean, Garen Smudge is good, but he's also overshadowed by guys like Andropov, and I don't know if he's he's overshadowed by Yule. And
oh really?
Yeah, I would say so.
I don't know.
He has a high on base percentage, as you were discussing.
Yes, I don't know. I think if you compare Smudge and Yule straight up, Smudge has better. I would rather have Smudge on my team, but yeah, it's close. It's definitely close for those two. And then we have Andropov and Gare. Yeah, I don't know. That whole situation's tight. We'll see.
I think popularity contest Smudge definitely would pull through when it comes to Arizona players. But I mean, it's just a matter of juggling positions versus just what's available and what teams have to have representation left.
Right. Yeah, we'll see how that ends up working out, and I still don't 100% understand, if people are actually going to be left out because someone else on their team, and I don't know. I don't understand that. I just know that, for the Diamondbacks, Smudge and Stakes is Diamondbacks, right?
Yeah.
I don't actually know any other shortstops that I couldn't name them off the top of my head.
I was gonna say Durgash O'Leary, but he's a AL. Maybe I'm thinking of AL shortstops. Shit, are there good NL shortstops? Am I being crazy? Hopkins is third base, so I might get some people.
Lane Drew's on the Lane Drew's American League. Yeah, I don't know. The ones that I do know of, they're American League. So.
God, Preller's being Preller right now. Hey, Preller, what's up? Yeah, we're talking about his team, so this is probably why he's discussing.
Let's talk about his team a little more. What else can we? Cannonball Dickerson had an awesome game.
He's an interesting personality.
He's a character.
I like him a lot. But I mean, he had a good game, but then you look at his stats before the game, and he was 1 for 9 with a 125 average. So it was just kind of like he's just breaking in now, and I don't think,
Now he's average.
especially since he's a first baseman,
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's with forehead. He's gonna get usurped by his own teammate.
Yeah.
I feel. Yeah, I'm not. It's the Padres. That's all I would have to say about the Padres. They're okay.
Do you think
Dwindle
the
on
Diamond?
endorsements, pretty good.
Do you think the Diamondbacks winning this? I don't know. Do you think this kind of propels them to? It was a close. It was a, here's what I'll say. It's a close win against an opponent on evenish. Kind of playing. They've had similar seasons. They've struggled a little bit. Still gotten some wins. Do you think this win for the Diamondbacks, means a lot? Do you think this is going to propel them anywhere? Do you think,
I think the Diamondbacks are the most unlucky team in the league because I think time and time again they prove themselves to be something of a force, but they also keep losing, just like close or like just disappointing games. But also I had a ping from Mr. Dan Gertsone, and he just reminded me that Scottish Twiggy exists, and Scottish Twiggy is a NL shortstop hitting 500. So that complicates the Dom Stakes journey now that he does exist.
Yeah, that's my fault. Scottish Twiggy. Oh, okay. No, I was gonna say I don't think he made the All-Star Game ballot, but I think he did, and he was just on the second page because I was looking for him and I couldn't find him when I was looking through it. He's definitely very good. I overlooked it a little bit. I probably should have known that. Being
Rusty
on the
Kuntz
Brewers.
isn't that bad either.
Ooh, Colorado?
Yeah, they'll be the next game, so I probably
Yeah, we'll talk about Colorado. The pitching. We haven't talked about the pitching in this game. Any thoughts they have? I think the Diamondbacks pitching staff is always so interesting to me.
I like Sid a lot. I like him. He's
their
not
numbers,
that good, but I like him.
Yeah, their numbers don't look good to me when I look at them, but I think they're getting better like every game. I think they're
What's a pitcher? What's like a real life equivalent of like a pitcher who does really well every other game, and then he does really terrible the other games?
That really is the diamond.
That's Kid especially who he has a player of the game under his belt, and he has a win under his belt here. He's 2-0, and yet I mean he's still has pretty lackluster stats. I don't know if these have been updated though, so maybe he'll get better. I'd like that guy a lot.
I think the Padres pitching is in a similar situation too, because Grimes and Cinnamon are like largely on loan. I think that's what Sylvester Cinnamon. I think I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Not anything amazing the pitching in this game, but yeah, it was an interesting.
I like Grimes. He's pretty decent.
Is that their main like pitcher? I have a problem in general with San Diego pitching. For whatever reason, I've just never known any of the pitchers on the Padres.
Padres are as relevant to me in fake baseball as in real baseball.
Damn, yeah.
No, it's different. They have a lot of names that I know, Cannonball and Forehead. But they have a lot of like really memey people on the Discord.
Dong Huge Man Child.
That guy, he's a little too memey for my taste.
So, did you see this is kind of funny. The picture that he posted, where he was asking Preller to be the rep for the team, the PA rep, and Preller was basically like, "Yo, dude, if I'm gonna make you the PA rep, you got to cut out the act, Basically, that's and I just thought it was so funny that he posted that. It was Preller just basically saying like, "Hey, dude, you gotta not be."
That guy's something.
I like him, yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
This is a game. 6-5 Arizona after a thrilling walk-off. Gil Metz, he's kind of been a journeyman. He went from the Braves. He was on the Braves when they were the Braves, and he went to the Phillies, and then he went to the Rays, and then he went to the Diamondbacks now, and he's walking off. So yeah, good for him.
Dude, is it just me, or have the Diamondbacks been involved in a couple of walk-offs this season? I think they've had at least one against them, or like another one like for them or something. I just think they have a higher rate of that happening to them.
Los Angeles, when they were, I umped their game versus Los Angeles. I think that ended with a walk off because they won that game. That was another Sid Kidd start. That was his player of the game start. I think you're right. I think they walked off that game.
Cool.
All right, so 6-5 Arizona. Yay. We're going to go to the final game of the National League, and that is Colorado versus San Francisco. We had this San Francisco lose, actually, in a game that probably a lot of people thought the Rockies would lose. But, I mean, the Rockies have been... They just had a good, like, last couple of games that have really just rocketed them to relevancy. I can't talk today. I don't know what is up. It was a lot of, I mean, Andrew Peters didn't start. I feel like he should have started, but I mean, they have their guy that sounds like a boner pill, Ambiorix. I guess they just want to try him out a little bit more. The era of the one pitcher team has really started to usher its way out. I don't think there's really many more teams that have been preferring that. So I understand what they did here, but I mean. I don't have the score on the
It's 4-2. Colorado 4, San Francisco 2.
Yeah, I had that up for, I don't know if it's on the other, it should, but I don't know. But yeah, 4-2 Colorado. I mean, it was a surprisingly like both these teams have pretty decent offenses, but I mean, it was kind of a lackluster game on both offensing and pitching because it's kind of like in the middle where it's not like a shutout, but it's not like a blowout either.
Yeah. Which is, I don't know. I think there's something to be said about that, seeing as how they both started rookie pitchers, I think, or was Murphy? I don't know if this was Murphy's first start. I haven't seen his name very much, so I'm not 100% sure on the Rocky side. But yeah, I don't know. This game was interesting. I very boldly said that it would be an easy game for San Francisco. They're a strong team, and I still kind of think they're, among the best teams in the league, or the best team in the league. And I'm not going to back off from that statement. The Colorado has been hot lately. They're on the 3-game win streak. One of those, 2 of those games have been close, including this one, and the other one was a pretty good win for them. So I get it. But, I will say it's not like it was a crazy, win for them, or anything. They got less hits than San Francisco. San Francisco's scores came off of 2 solo homers. If they had, one person on base in each of those, it would have been it'd be 4-4 right now. We'd see where they'd be. I don't know. I still think San Francisco's a very good team. This definitely does not change my opinion on that.
Can I discuss Hunter Tuzero, who's been he wasn't that great on my team, and then he got traded to the Giants, and he started really getting on fire, which I would be angry with if not for Owen Urich having equally all-star game caliber sorts of performances with me. So I mean, we swapped players, and they're both doing pretty well on each of our teams. But yeah, Hunter had a homer in this game. He was 3 for 2 with an RBI. I mean, if he keeps this up, he might be in a really good situation for. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's too soon to go MVP, but I mean, he's starting to rise up the ranks when it comes to players in this league.
Yeah. I think a lot of the Giants had pretty. Kimbrel had a good game. We like Quint. Andropov. I think this might be what puts him over the edge for the All-Star game race.
And meanwhile, Alpha has also been very good. I mean, he's not in this game right now, but I looked at his stats earlier, and he's a pretty solid player too.
What position does he play?
Third base, which gets immediately blocked by Valentino Sanchez. So, I mean, tough luck for him. But I mean, he's just like. He's just one of many players that, like, you look at the Colorado offense and you go, like, that's a good offense. Like, they got something. I mean, Roth had a really good game, 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. That probably had a very good, with his triple, that had a very good impact on this game and put them up 2-0 really early in the top of the third. But yeah, I mean, Rocky they usually have a very high scoring games, and I think their pitching came through enough that they could. I mean, they didn't have to score 11 runs basically.
Yeah. Uh, two rookies, two debuts this game. I think both of them are debuts. Patrick Doyle. He struggled at the plate, 0 for 2, and then Steel Pipe Simpson,
Yeah, I see what you mean.
zero
I
for
see, I see
three.
what you mean from earlier. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was with this session. Not a good session to debut. What were you gonna say? Were you still going?
um, not really, but I could talk about. I think we should talk about player of the game Gottlieb Giannopoulos, who had the game-winning two-run home run in the sixth. Yeah, oh yeah, they were tied, so that makes sense. We plan a lot before these,
Yeah, a
but,
lot.
but yeah, I know Giannopoulos a lot because I feel like he keeps being brought up as like the new poster child for the Rockies resurgence, or their surgeons because they haven't been around long enough to resurge.
Yeah,
But yeah, he's a pretty good player. He obviously showed himself able to win this one for the Rockies. I'm excited to see what he has going on for him in the future of this league. As for pitching, what do you think about the pitching? I mean, Hank Murphy had a pretty decent game. I mean, nothing to write home about. He did have 7 hits and 1 strikeout, but I mean, results are results, and 2 runs is not that bad, and it got him the win. As opposed to Matt Havipetti, who had 6 strikeouts, but he didn't do so well in the end.
yeah. It's all pretty situational. I mean, I think it went about as well as you could expect for both teams. I don't think either team is kind of beating themselves up and saying, "Oh, if we had started, maybe the Giants a little bit with Peters." But
He did
that game
pitch,
was,
but he didn't start.
yeah, he didn't start yet. I think that game definitely gives them a lot to think about in terms of like what they're going to do in the future for pitching. I think it showed Matt Havipetti can sort of, hold his own. 4 hits, 5 innings isn't too, it's not bad at all. 6 strikeouts. So he's if they want to bring him in the reliever role or whatever, I can cite this game as a pretty decent debut for him.
I just
Murphy didn't lose the game for them, despite giving up more hits, and it
I
went
just
okay.
realized Andrew Peters actually lost this game technically because he gave up the go ahead home run, right? Did he? Oh, maybe
Um,
not. Maybe not. No. Oh yeah, he didn't. Oh,
were they his? Yeah, he came
the
in
second one was he gave up the home run, but the first run, which was the go ahead run, uh was not
It was
his.
earned. It wasn't his earned run.
Okay, so never mind. I changed the graphic, but I have to change it back.
Oh,
So okay, it doesn't matter. We're pretty much done with this game. For the 2 win. Oh, you want to get something else in?
yeah. One other thing is, I think Supreme Ass Lord has the lowest batting average I've seen so far. That isn't Monster Mashes.
Oh shit, you're right.
That's yeah. I don't know.
Cambo's not doing very well either.
0.063.
With the .091 of Cambo, so yeah, that's not a good
Yeah.
1-2 punch for the Giants.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, interesting game.
I mean, good name at least.
Yeah. Go Giants.
All right, so 4-2, Colorado over San Francisco, and that will conclude National League. So we're gonna go into the American League, and we're gonna start off with a big game, which was Toronto versus Minnesota, and this one was a 13-6 win for Toronto. That was capitalized by a guy who we will talk later. Talk about later, you'll see why. Player of the game, Ziggy Cedar, 4 for 4, 3 home runs, 4 RBIs, 3 home runs. What do you think about this performance?
3 home runs. Is this the first 3 home run game this season?
This season,
I know of one other
yes.
one, but
What was the other
we'll
one?
talk this session. We'll talk about it later. It was Langley and Seattle Mariners versus Astros.
No, this is the first 3 run for
Yeah,
for
that's
for the
interesting.
season.
That's wild. Yeah, no, he had a monster game. Um, this game, did we expect it to be as offense heavy as it was?
I think we were like under the pretense that I think we talked a lot about Burr, and Burr didn't start.
Yeah, yeah. I think what we were saying was because Toronto was already up a little bit over Minnesota, and we were saying, Minnesota's not completely out of it. They still have Burr, in their back pocket, can always bring him in. And I think you specifically even told me, at this point in the game, I think they were up like 3 or something. You'd probably take Collins out and put in Burr.
That's true.
But, that didn't end up happening. He ended up giving up
9 runs.
9 runs, 12 hits. Pablo Sanchez got brought in. Ricky Steele, which I think, was a recent signing. So I guess they just kind of use the game as a, just throw out some pitchers and kind of see what happens.
And to plug some other MLR media before we continue, if you want to know more about Ricky Steele, you can read the article about him on 501D. Don't You Forget About Me. I think that's what it's called.
Ooh.
It's pretty.
Is that pretty nice. Who wrote that one?
Jack Bing.
Oh, Jack Bing wrote that one. Okay.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of meeting Jack Bing a few times. He's a pretty cool dude. He bought me dinner once.
Oh, that's nice of him.
that's a season 1 meme right there. You might not know the complexity of that meme, but that's like the first MLR meme.
I know a little bit, but I'd like to learn more about season 1. I was only here for the end of it, but yeah.
Okay, so what else about this game? We had more than just that. Lane Drew got his first home run of the season, which he was very happy about. He had a very good day. Thomas Berry, he did his thing. He's a hitting machine, I feel. He's just picked up where he left off last season. And I think Toronto just overall, if you looked at the DPA standings for Session 7, they just basically, they were so close to begin with, like before this game, and now I feel like they've definitely brought themselves back up to number 1 status.
Jay, what do you do if you're Daniel Collins here? Like, how do you come back from a game like this?
I thought you were just gonna say, "What do you do?" And just
what do you do?
Daniel Collins, just this game didn't happen. You have to tell yourself this game didn't happen. He might not pitch for a while because Burr didn't pitch here, and well, I don't know, because Mike's very very keen on using all of his pitchers or as many pitchers as he can. But he just needs to shake this one off. Fake baseball is a very interesting sport where you can have just like a guy, like Sonny Streaker got a player of the game in Eco, and that's not the top league, but anything could happen. You can go from the worst pitcher in the league to the best pitcher, which is why like when I traded for Streaker, I was like, okay, he has bad history, but I can fix him. And you can always fix something. You can always fix a pitcher, and you can always fix the way you pitch. And I feel like Collins, I feel like this is a good thing to look at in terms of making sure you don't do it again and just like trying to fix the way you pick pitches. I think just don't worry about it too much. This is going to happen to every pitcher in this league sooner or later, whether you're Dan Gertzone, who gave up a pretty nasty game a few sessions ago. Cal Tiberius kind of faded off into obscurity because of a few nasty games. Just don't like try to be the best pitcher. Just try to be a good pitcher, and just like try to make sure each pitch counts. Don't look ahead to the 6th inning. Just look ahead to your next batter and just keep looking in short term. And sooner or later you're gonna find yourself at the top, I feel. So Collins just needs to look ahead to the future, look short term, fix up his pitching strategy, and I feel like he could bounce back.
It's interesting that you say that because there's one a pitcher on your team that I think kind of exemplifies that, and that's Quinn Pye. I think he's very like you said, you yourself said this, that he's not very good at starting. But when he comes in and he, as a reliever, he does pretty decent. I know this time around he gave up didn't he give up a run, like a run or two, just at the But I don't know. I think from just kind of joining this league, all I remember about Pye is he gave up a grand slam, and we kind of shit on him a little bit for it, and then now I think he's a pretty good pitcher. So.
And now, after you talk about how I've changed up my use of Pye, I'd like to announce formally that next session, Pye is starting against the Pirates. So, stay tuned.
That'll do. Yeah, I don't know if it goes well. That'll do a lot for his confidence. That's awesome.
He's pitched a game session 2. He pitched most of the game and he did phenomenal. So anything can happen. Let's look a little more into the Minnesota side. I mean, Minnesota didn't just roll over. They got 6 runs. That's pretty good in and of itself.
And this loss comes from on the back of a monster game from Hopkins. He
fucking Hopkins, dude.
Yeah,
fucking Hopkins.
Just so good.
He and Grams are probably the best offensive players in this league right now. I don't know how he does it each time. I'm gonna have to look at these at bats when I do the DPA for this game. Actually, I already did. Fuck. Well, I looked at these at bats and he was pretty solid. Oh, man, I don't know. I thought it was safe because I hadn't done most of the games, but this is one of the ones that I did do because it was the first one to be done. But yeah, Pete Wheeler had 2 RBIs. It wasn't a slow day for Minnesota. It's sad that a good offense day had to be wasted on a bad pitching day.
Yeah,
it's a shame. But I mean, Minnesota's a good team. It was basically a clash of Goliaths, as opposed to some of these games being just like a clash of David versus like slightly better David.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Look, I think the thing to take away from it is 3 homers for Ziggy. What do you do against that? Like what do you expect it to do as an offense, giving up, when your pitcher is giving up 3 homers? I don't know. That's what I think about it. Is even like you said, like it wasn't a bad offensive effort from Minnesota. And even if they had done a little bit worse than they did, like still 3 homers from the other side. So I don't know. It's just hard.
Let's not forget Ryan Gasting, who probably has a very, very good chance of making the All-Star team on the AL, which a lot of people said the AL has like lackluster pitching, but I don't believe that. I feel like just Gasting, Dipper, Shark, Burr, they're like a good foursome that is just like to be reckoned with, that could compete with any NL pitcher, I think. So I don't think that's entirely true. I think that they're very, very good when it comes to pitching in some aspects.
It could be the personalities. I know some of the NL pitchers have pretty, and I say that, and literally all I think about is Dan, because I don't really like who else is an NL pitcher. I don't know.
Darth Vader and what's his face? Why is his name slipping from me? Giants pitcher. What the fuck?
Peters?
What happened there? I just had
Andrew Peters.
Oh, that was weird. I was like calling him like Andrew Ryan, like.
He has almost 2 first names, so Andrew Peters.
Because I was thinking Ryan Gasting, and like I was like Andrew Gasting, Andrew Ryan. Good outing by Gasting, who had 6 strikeouts. He's a strikeout machine. I think that guy has 2 500 difference pitches, doesn't he?
Yeah, actually,
he had 1 in like an exhibition game, I think, or like something to that effect. No, he had 1 in the Winter Classic.
Oh man, I love the Winter Classic. I had a homer in that game, and it just gave me so much confidence. I have good memories about it. Yeah, that game's a good game. What are the All-Star implications of this game?
Well, like Gasting obviously showed that he. Well, actually, no, he didn't. He gave us 6 runs, but he so Gasting actually kind of hurt himself. Damn, why didn't I look at that? Fuck. He gave a lot of strikeouts though. That was pretty good. But yeah, 6 earned runs. It's because the ERA isn't there. This guy left off the ERA, and it kind of threw me off. Man,
no batting averages either. It's hard, man.
Yeah, it's hard to look at numbers.
It's hard to make off the fly analysis without having the numbers right in front of us.
Sardinka. What do you think about Sardinka?
I think Sardinka is underrated. I know you like him a lot, as a pitcher.
He's an umping nightmare, but because he's
because of the time
different part, yeah. But he has a 2.47 ERA, so he's nothing to shake a stick at.
I'm interested to see what a good ERA in this league is, because I don't know. I think real baseball kind of clouds our fake baseball judgment a little bit sometimes, because I don't know.
I was thinking earlier because this this argument weighs heavily, like this whole conversation weighs heavily on the fact that there's 6 innings versus 9 innings. I was thinking about like someday like having like a cool like something similar to the Winter Classic where instead like there's just a 9 inning game, like it's just like a 9 inning special classic game. And it's like a tradition that we can set like maybe in the off season while we're waiting for like free agents to sign or whatever, or like waiting for the new season to start. We can have like a mid off season 9 inning game where like okay, let's see how a game would be if like it's minimum 9 innings, because like
You know what?
it'd be kind of cool.
You know what was always an interesting idea to me was doing like a live game, like where you get
Yes, I want
9 people on one side, people on the other, and then just like you literally just all are on Discord and you just do it. You just run through the game.
We could
And
live
you play it
stream
in the night. Yeah, like wouldn't that be cool?
That would be awesome. I was thinking about that as like an all-star weekend sort of
Yeah,
extra, but it's too late now to. I mean, we could maybe set it up as maybe
maybe.
an unofficial thing. I mean, who would stop us? If you want to be in the live game, make sure to DM us and make sure you'd be active, and that will be definitely a thing. Totally,
Yeah,
not gonna just forget
yeah.
about it.
That's not. We're not gonna flake out on that. And that's just yeah. That's definitely happening. Yeah. I don't know. Good game though. Offensively, Hopkins. Probably almost for sure going to the All-Star game. Um, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where this game takes these two teams. They're definitely still both at the top of their standings. So we'll see.
I'm actually gonna put this live stream on a very 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 short break because I have to take a piss really badly. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
I mean if you want I could put you on, but if not I can just mute everything and we can be back after I come back.
No. Let's take a break.
All right, so we'll be right back. Probably like 30 seconds. I'm a pretty fast peer. But yeah, we'll be right back.
Did
All
we
right.
have 8 watching? The fuck?
We had 10. Now we have
Sick.
9 on my thing on my dashboard. We're on again, by the way. Hey guys, we're back from the break. Sorry about that. We're gonna just be go right along to the next American League game, which is Tampa Bay versus Oakland, which is a game that I think a lot of us thought that yeah, Oakland is they're doing pretty good now, but like Tampa Bay is Tampa Bay, so they're gonna win. But I mean, I know I totally said that Shark would be would like without Shark the Oakland would not do well, but Schwizzle proved me wrong and he beat the Devil Rays by a score of 2-1. So what do you think about this game, Kev?
It's interesting. I like the low scoring. I like that. That's That's interesting to
We
me.
always need
I
a
think,
few. Yeah.
yeah, I think Hoos had a really good game for having just been traded. That was cool to see. It was cool to see Schwizzle pitching the whole game, giving up 3 hits, 1 run, 8 strikeouts. That was pretty good. I think that puts the A's in a really good spot pitching wise.
Schwartzel
They
is
have
so weird. I'm sorry, but what is this? Who is this guy?
why? What do you mean?
He was on that roster doing nothing, like not used
Oh,
once for like 5 months. And then
yeah,
he comes up here, he does like 2 great games. He has an 8 strikeout game here against probably the highest, one of the highest ranked teams in the league. It's just crazy. Who is this guy?
yeah. No, I see what you mean. I think last time we were talking about, you were surprised that he was still on the roster or something like
I'm
that.
still surprised he's still on the roster.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Athletics, I mean, they've successfully, along with Boston, they've successfully sort of supplanted themselves from being a laughingstock to like a very interesting, powerful team, and that's like on the back of not only the pitching but also guys like Kid Notcher. I'm not gonna talk about his name anymore. who comes in and he gets another hit. He's still hitting 500. Or he might still be. I don't know. It looks like he is. Yeah, 1 for 2 with 500. So yeah. But yeah, he's just continuing to do what he does, which is hit balls. Hopefully overage balls.
Okay, you know what's interesting? Since you were saying, the A's, the Red Sox have kind of pulled themselves out of that making fun, so bad that you make fun of them connotation. We don't really have any more teams like that, I don't think. I don't know, maybe the Nationals, but we don't really give teams shit, for being awful anymore because everyone has something to point at, to be like, oh, they're pretty good, or they have something. Like the Nationals, the Nationals pitching is decent sometimes,
Well,
the Tigers don't really exist. I don't know. I'm just kind of looking at the standings and seeing who's at the bottom. But I feel like at the beginning we had a lot more teams that were like 0-3, 1-4 or something, and we would just say, oh, they're playing the whatever, like easy game.
that was a bigger thing in session one. I would feel where our season one I would feel where we had like I think the Baltimore Orioles went 1-6 for the season.
Yeah,
So I feel like there's a lot more parity, and feel like there's not really teams that I mean, like even if they're doing bad, like you have nothing to like ridicule them about, and like this has been like a little more of like a sort of less of a serious like mean league than it used to be, where like we don't get in fights a lot anymore, and like we're pretty respectful to each other. So I feel like there's a lot of things like that, but yeah, I mean, Oakland had a little bit where it's like, haha, Oakland. And actually, I remember McElroy being pretty scathing to them on his podcast, which then he gives up like a billion runs this session. So that's pretty good karma, I would guess.
Did you see my post that I made to like kind of make fun of you? The one where how you posted who would be every team's captain?
Yeah.
I posted who would not, and I don't know. I was just trying to make jokes, and I put that what's his face, Brady, McElroy, whatever. I put that he retired as a joke, because Dougie retired.
Yeah.
And I had like 3 people post in chat like, "Oh, did Brady really retire? What the hell would have happened?" And I think Lane even said that, and Lane does a podcast with them. So I don't know. I don't know where he's been. I don't know where Brady's been. Maybe been busy, but yeah.
Oh, shit, what was I gonna say? You spoke too long. Fuck. No, I don't know what I was gonna say. It was something about the Padres, but I forget about the Padres all the time. So what can I say?
Yeah, true.
Let's talk more about the actual game though. It was a low scoring game with very good pitching from Swizzle and like who we need more recognition for because he can really turn it on. You can really turn it on if he has to, and I think who's definitely turned it on right now. It's disappointing that he didn't get the win, but somebody has to win the game, and Schwizzle got 8 fucking strikeouts with 1 earned run, and he came out of nowhere. And I still know who this guy is, and I love him. I want to get Jack Bing on the line because I need to get an interview with this guy published somewhere.
That's awesome.
What
Yeah.
about Van Vactor, who did get an RBI? I mean, do you think he's having an upswing, or do you think he's still going to be kind of
Oh
on the
man,
bottom?
when you start as slow as he did this season, any sort of production is an upswing. I think even that 125 looks good to me when I think about him because I remember looking at Van Vactor's stats and it was rough. It was rough to start it off, and you might know a little bit more about this, or definitely know more about this than me. But season one, he was a pretty, I don't know, he was pretty well known, right? Or he was in the MVP race or something.
He was the MVP.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So he was pretty well known.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's definitely an upswing from however he started off this season. So have both MVPs been struggling then?
Yeah, there was a make a case thing where we discussed if the MVP award is cursed because of that was a while ago and it's still kind of relevant today. But let's talk about a bad break though, because the Athletics also have Max Watson, who came into this game as probably one of the worst. He's like the Sunny Streaker of hitting, and I can say that because Max and I are buddies, so we riff off each other a lot. But he has 2 strikeouts and 2 at bats, so like it's just he's still having that sort of season. Do you think he can turn around?
I hope so. I like Max too from a couple different things, but I think you were saying last episode we were on, at least I think you were saying was that him who you were talking about, who you wanted him to turn it around and you're really hoping he did well this game? Probably. I think it was
Wiseman. I was talking about Wiseman.
Wiseman, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's rough. Yeah, Wiseman had a rough game too, huh?
Yeah, it's
I guess hitters in general, this game was not.
It's a low scoring game. The pitching really shown here.
Yeah.
3 hits for the Rays, 4 hits for the Athletics.
I like the McBaseball face on one side and McBoat face on the other.
It's a very good tag team. I'm glad that you stayed strong on McBoat face and he's not changing his name because they need to be on the same team one of these days.
That'd be sick.
McBaseball like face to the Athletics confirmed.
I like that the Grams are on the same team. That's always cool to me, especially because they hit right after each other on the Blue Jays.
Well, I feel like that was kind of. I feel like the Nationals, like that was half the reason why Milo wanted to go to the Blue Jays.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think about the Devil Rays? I think, and maybe this is just me, but I think the Devil Rays do a really good job at getting almost everyone on their roster playing time.
It's definitely hard because I think they're one of the only ones who actually have a full roster.
Yeah, no, they're definitely full, and they. I think everyone. I almost feel like he doesn't start anyone like twice in a row. I seriously do feel like he almost completely like shifts the whole lineup every other game. What do you think about that?
I'm not as much of a manager like that. I definitely respect it. I guess I kind of am. I just have less players than he does. But yeah, I definitely think it's. I don't think there's a lot of things that managers are able to do in this game. And like that's one of the biggest challenges when it comes to managing is to try to find equal playing time. And I think if that's like a testament to a good manager, I think Witt's doing a fantastic job with that Tampa Bay ball club.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
All right, but 2-1 Oakland over Tampa Bay. Jay Swizzle gets the win, and I feel like it'll be interesting to see his career as he continues. I hope he gets a lot more pitching time. But yeah, we're gonna move on to Texas versus Montreal. Note that these graphics that I got for these transitions, they do not have a Montreal game, so I improvised. So I have a nice like pasted Montreal Expos logo over the video. But yeah, Texas versus Montreal. Texas beat them by a score of 3-1. What do you think? Or no, they don't. They're still on the top of the
they're still. Yeah, they're still. That's actually one of the. We have 3 games still going on.
Yeah, the last 3 games, I forgot. The last 3 games happen to be the ones that are still going on.
Yeah.
Or the last few games.
It's, well, I don't know. We have 4 left and 3 are going on. But yeah, it's an interesting game with, I feel like we say everything's an interesting game. This one's boring. This game's boring. Barney Summers didn't get any hits. I'm pissed.
Tiberius Jr. is still last season. Like, fuck him.
Oh yeah, Morello's pitching.
That's it. That's pretty exciting. He
Yeah.
gave up one run.
Oh, what happened? I don't remember what happened with their pitching this game.
Three fingers disappeared.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, but I mean, Morello did a pretty good job, and it pissed off. Who did it piss off? It pissed off somebody. Oh, it might have been the committee room. It pissed off somebody, and there was like discussion about like players pitching.
Yeah, well, that happens every time a position player pitches, I think.
I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
But okay, I see that you have a problem there. So let me take over the discussion a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna look at the Expos offense first, and I'm gonna go mainly to King Fielder, who I feel like King Fielder is one of those interesting preseason trades that don't get talked about a lot. I feel like it was like one of them solid low risk not like headline trades that really worked out well for the Expos. I mean, Fielder's hitting close to 300. He had a 2-for-2 game with one walk. I mean, it was a good game for him. Did he get the player of the game? Oh well, it's not done yet, so that's why.
Yeah,
I hope he. I feel like he could get it. I mean, Texas is leading right now, so.
If Morello holds on to the lead, do you think he has player of the game aspirations?
I feel like if it's I feel like Morello will get it if Texas holds on. I think Fielder will get it if Expos win. But Expos have a lot to get at in this inning. I mean, right now I'm gonna look into it right now. We're not. One of the things Corbett's really good at is looking into games live. He's really good at that. So
yeah.
Sorry, we kind of suck at that, but.
Well, the good thing is there's only 3 games going on, so I really doubt there's a lot of opportunities to do like live look-ins.
If you want to, if you are an aspiring commentator listening right now, and you want to commentate something or whatnot from one of the remaining games, give me a DM and I'll maybe send you in.
Well, we can get Ripley to guess sometime. That'd be cool.
I heard that voice crack.
Yeah. Whatever.
Ripley is a fantastic voice, and Sky Smalls is probably the best commentator I've ever heard of this group. But yeah, it's a game. It's still going on right now. I think I did check into this game, I think, and they were having a bit of a. There was like the Expos had started to get on some base runners, I think, but I guess it didn't. It kind of fell because the Morellos came up, the Rangers came up.
Yeah, the Morellos.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
What do you think?
I think. Well, I was first going to say that Montreal. They've been very underrated. They've been quietly having that 5-2 record. I personally don't think they're going to keep it up. If we're going to talk about like teams that are most likely to continue succeeding, because I look at their team and Colson's pretty good, but I mean he's been kind of lackluster. Fielder's been really good. I really like him, as I've been talking about, but I mean I don't know if they entirely have the makeup of a really good 5-2 team, or they might sneak into the playoffs. But what do you think about the Expos, Kev?
I think out of all the teams that have a bunch of wins, they're probably the weakest offensively. And like you said a little bit earlier, Tiberius Jr. isn't. He's overrated. I think we all. That's always yeah. So I don't know. I definitely think they're the weakest out of that crop of teams, like the Blue Jays, the Twins. Who else is up there? The Giants for me. You know how I like the Giants, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about the All-Star Game implications of this game? We have Barney Summers, again going 0 for 3. I think that's the first game he hasn't gotten a hit. I still think he's pretty good. He's pretty good.
I think on Fireside Chat, Tim announced that Benz is currently in the running for an All-Star Game spot, which I didn't know he was this good. He's hitting .412, second baseman.
Yeah,
I think he has a very good shot. I mean, he already is pretty much working pretty well. He's also a guy with a name starting with the letter Z, which write that down, Kev.
Ooh, yeah.
We'll see that in a little bit.
Missed that one.
But 1 home run, 3 RBIs. He's pretty good. I think that if there is a player on the Expos to go in, it'd definitely be him. But yeah, The Expos have a very surprisingly devoid roster, I feel, or at least I guess they don't talk a lot. Maybe it's just Discord bias. But I mean, even if I say that, the Rangers don't talk a lot, but I see them as like if I don't know what I picked, but I'm pretty sure I picked that the Rangers would win because the Rangers are just on an amazing upturn. Even with Barney Summers having a less than perfect game, 0 for 3. I mean, everybody has them. I like the Rangers a lot, and I think
Trundle. You like Trundle too, I think.
Trundle's really good too. Yeah, he had 2 walks and a hit in 3 plate appearances. So,
oh God, yeah, that's pretty good.
I really like Trundle. They just have a really good offensive core that I think is very, it's like new. It's very fresh. We hadn't talked about the Rangers a lot, and then like they started doing well, and then we started looking into them, and it's just like such a new, interesting team.
Yeah, I like that Morello, Summers, Trundle.
Morello definitely adds to it. That I'm glad he got on that team.
Yeah, for sure.
Fire had a hit though, so good for him. I always liked Fire because he was on my team in season 1. I like him a lot. He's a really good dude.
What's his name?
Ross Fire.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He had 500 last season, so he's kind of had a pretty hard time here.
Yeah.
But I mean, 1 RBI, so he obviously had a good game this time around. But yeah, anything else to add to this game?
No, I think that's pretty much it. We'll keep a close eye on Morello pitching here. We'll see how that goes. We'll see if they can hold on.
Yeah, we have a lot to get through, so maybe we should do these a little quicker.
Yeah.
We have 3 games left, so let's go into Cleveland versus Baltimore. We're gonna discuss that, and that's another game that's still. Is it still ongoing?
Yeah, it's still ongoing. Yep.
This one's a little slow.
Yeah, that one's slow. I think I heard a lot about that being a little bit slow.
Yeah, that's what they were complaining about, huh? It's 4-4 right now. It recently got tied because the roundup still has it as 4-3, but they got tied on a Hans Gruber ground out. So the Orioles are back into it. Meanwhile, the Indians, who are recently blown up, they've started to sort of get used to their current lineup. But I think the Indians were last in DPA. So what do you think about the Indians falling so far recently?
I don't know. When you do a major roster overturn like they have, and I know you know about this because you did it sort of with your team. I think you're gonna struggle a little bit up first just to kind of figure out who's reliable, who's good. It's gonna take a couple games, and then after that, you'll be okay. But they are 4-3; they'll be fine. I think it's just the growing pains of turning over their roster so pretty quickly. And just to kind of get through this game real quick, what I was gonna say about Baltimore is debuts. We had a couple debuts in this one too. Romero. I think Romero on the Orioles side, and what's his name? Sherby fully loaded.
Sherby fully loaded. Yeah.
Yeah. So they started. Charlie, I think his name's Charlie Yeager was a recent trade acquisition on the Orioles.
From the Diamondbacks.
Yeah. So some stuff to look out for there. Also, Hans Gruber still doesn't have a hit. He's definitely struggling.
But he does have an RBI, so that's good.
Yeah, no hits on RBI. Yeah,
from that ground out I talked about. But just because Yeager is pitching does not mean Dipper hasn't been in the game, and he definitely has with 2 hits on two at bats, 2 RBIs. So that Dipper dude, he's one of the great ones. I feel.
Yeah,
he's a great pitcher, and then he comes in and he starts hitting really, really well. Orioles are on a very interesting upswing. I need to stop using the word interesting, but
interesting. All these games are so interesting.
You talked earlier about teams like debuts having a lot of trouble, debutees having a lot of trouble, but I mean they've had very good debuts, and I mean we think about pitchers having a bad time hitting, but their pitcher has had a good time hitting. It's been a very interesting game. Fuck.
God.
It's been a very game, and I think the Orioles are gonna pull this one off. To be honest.
And real quick, just to round it out, Orioles All-Star Game. Who do you think is gonna go?
Nicky Falk.
Who deserves? Yeah.
Nicky Falk, Chipper Dipper. I think they're both gonna be in it.
Oh yeah, Chipper. I forgot about Chipper.
Chipper's gonna be one of the pitchers. Yes.
I'm a little bit worried if Falk will make it if Chipper does.
She might get overshadowed. Right? She might get overshadowed by De Las Rosas, but I think that Tampa Bay is gonna have like Carp or somebody. So I think that I don't know. I think that you could say that De Las Rosas is gonna overtake her in that case, but I don't think Tampa Bay is gonna have any trouble getting represented in any other position. So
Yeah.
I think Orioles could. I mean, people think that Orioles are not that good, but I think Orioles could come in with 2 representatives in that All-Star game. But what about the Indians? Yeah. Do you think they're gonna have? What do you think
that's hard. That's hard because their team is relatively.
It's really difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly I couldn't give you a good answer for that just off the top of my head. They have a couple guys hitting 500, but I don't know if that's just.
It's probably.
I think that's just low
5
sample
at-bats.
size. Yeah, exactly.
State could do it. Third base. What's the third? Oh, third base has Johnny Hopkins. Ugh.
Yeah, Hopkins is
That's a pain in the ass.
We'll see. That's interesting what you were saying about the Devil Rays. Like maybe that'll hurt JD's chances of just having so many other good players on his team. They're seriously like 3 or 4 or 5 guys on the Devil Rays that you can make an argument for, right?
JD wants you to give him a shout out.
That was my shout out. JD's a very good player, second baseman, good guy.
Sorry, I was reading his message, so I kind of zoned out for a second there.
Yeah. But, just kind of like looking at it real quick, JD, Grim Carp, Baseball-y. Wait, is that Baseball-y? Yeah, that's Baseball-y. Yeah, they have a couple of people that have a chance.
Rays are gonna have.
So we'll
I think Rays are gonna have more than one on the roster too.
Dogman might make it with his .143.
Never say never.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, let's move on from this game then. It's currently 4 against 4. 4.
Oh, this is another Boston Red Sox versus Detroit Tigers. That's a low scoring game. It's 1-0 right now. Is that bottom of the 5th?
I don't know. Let me look into it. Yeah, there's a few games here that are still going on, and they're all at the tail end. And that was just completely coincidental because I went down the list for the most part.
Oh, I thought you did that on purpose. That you went for the.
It would have been smart, but I'm not that smart. Yeah, 1-0. Yeah, man, that's weird because the Red Sox have been such offensive powerhouses recently, and now they've been silenced. But it's not like their pitching has been terrible in any regard. And they did get that one out or that one run off with long shots single.
You know what? If the Red Sox win this game, they'll actually have the highest, the longest win streak now. Now that the Cardinals lost.
Damn.
I don't think anyone else has a 4-game win streak.
You're right.
Wait, will it be 4 or 5? Were they 0-3?
They're 4-3 right now.
But yeah, so were they 0-3 or were they?
They're over 500. What the fuck?
Yeah, I know. Isn't it crazy? Peppers has done so much for this team. Like Peppers, I don't know. Peppers blows my mind. No, Peppers is one of the good GM, one of the great.
I don't think they were 0. Oh, I think they were. I think they got a win and then they got a loss and then they have.
Yeah, I think they were 1-3 too. I think this will be their 4th win if they do win it. So that's interesting. We always talk about is Boston on the upswing. Whatever. If they win this, yeah, definitely, for sure. Even if it comes against one of the, one of the struggling teams in the league. Are you so you said you were surprised that this was such a pitching, pitcher's game?
I don't really hold Boston as a high pitching game, like an ace pitching team. Neither do I do Detroit, but I more so hold Boston as a very good offensive team, and so I expected this to. I half expected them to pick up where they left off, considering how hot they've been, and I mean they haven't really. It's good to see Voorhees finally getting a hit for his new team though, so that's good for him. He had a very good start, but hasn't really kept it. Hadn't really kept it up after he was traded, but.
Is that true?
Yeah, apparently. I mean, that's what Corbett said last MLR Tonight. Or last one we were on.
I thought he'd be doing pretty well. Well, I think that's kind of something we've been overlooking for catcher. All-Star game because he's not. His stats are still pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so we'll see. Is there anyone? Detroit's an interesting one in terms of All-Star game implications because I don't. they have is Rollins good on that team? Valentino Rollins, or am I thinking of the other Valentino?
Morris Durat's probably going to be on that team.
Durat, that's who it is. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a beast to say the least. He had a time especially where, like when we were talking about Summers initially, when he was really breaking out early season, Durat was breaking out right next to him, and he's kind of cooled off a little bit more, but he still had to walk this session. I mean, he's a really good pitcher. Well, he might be a really good pitcher. He's a really good player. And,
We'll see.
I mean, there's 3 outfield slots on that All-Star game All-Star team. So, I mean, I think he can make it. He probably will, especially since each team needs to have one person. So that has to be their one person. I don't see Durat not making the team.
Yeah.
As far as Boston, who do you think's gonna make it?
Fuck, I don't know. That catcher situation is crowded. Like I said at the beginning, I really think for whatever reason, catcher's a very good offensive position in the MLR.
Yeah.
We have so many good catchers. It's going to be hard. And I don't even think Voorhees is campaigning very much.
Voorhees is a little quiet.
Yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. He has a chance. I don't think any of the pitchers have a chance, do they? They don't have any pitchers that have like a super high amount of innings or a bunch of success, and they traded away more at Stifle. So yeah. I don't know. I honestly don't know. McCluster's decent, right? From what I understand. I don't know how many at-bats he has. But
we traded him for free, but yeah.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that. You traded him away and then
he had a pretty good start to the season. I'm happy I was just memeing. I'm really happy he's been doing good. Because I kind of misused him, so I'm glad somebody's using him well, and somebody's giving him those at bats. He needs to really get out there. So
yeah,
good for him. I like him. Last game though, we're gonna talk about Seattle Houston. Did that just finish?
Yeah, that finished yesterday, I think. Yesterday.
Really, it wasn't finished when I was. Yeah, it had to have been earlier.
Earlier today, yeah. Oh man, Langley had 3 homers.
Yeah, he was. Kyle was talking about that. That's crazy.
And earlier, I think before he even hit a homer, she, whatever, I don't fucking know. They in chat they were like, "Oh, I'm gonna hit 2 homers this game or 3 homers this game or whatever," and it ended up happening.
No,
yeah,
way.
No, for sure, yeah.
That's some triple play Ethan Franklin type shit.
And and our pitcher ball 4, he gave up the first one. And he was doing pretty well aside from that. And then he did a meme number. He did the sex number as against Langley, and he gave up a homer there. And then there's a little bit of insider to our clubhouse, but I think Wilbur was gonna walk Langley on that 3rd at bat, and Balfour was just feeling confident, and he was just like, "Let me do it. I got him this time," and he gives up another homer. So. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm glad we got the win, but it was a little scary, Dude, when you give up 3 homers.
Somebody's gonna get completely, just like somebody's gonna deserve that player of the session extremely and just get snuffed.
Well, that's what's interesting is the other guy that hit 3 homers
was that. Yale.
Yeah, fuck, that's rough.
Somebody's gonna get cucked.
Yeah.
Hardcore.
That's rough. That really does suck for whoever doesn't get that.
Let's go quickly over All-Star Game implications, though. I mean, Langley, he had a good game. He's probably not going to get in the All-Star Game. I don't think he has enough at-bats. Or if he does, I don't know.
They might now. They might have enough now, but I don't know if anyone will vote for them. I'm not voting. Not because of this game. Just, I don't know. I think there's better outfielders for sure. Even with them hitting 3. What team are they on? Seattle Mariners. I was going to look at his stats, but I completely forgot what team they were on. Langley is... Oh, yeah, no. They definitely don't have enough plate appearances.
This is a very interesting testament. What do you think about Ball 4? Do you think he's a good replacement for Hughes? Or do you think he or any other pitchers on your team are good replacements for Hughes? Do you think they can pick up the torch?
I don't think anyone can replace Hoos. I think they're all the pitchers we currently have are good at something. I love Con Copper. I love that he strikes people out. We were looking at his stats earlier and we were making fun of him because he has a 3-1 strikeout to home run ratio.
He had two more strikeouts in his outing. What the fuck? How does he do that?
Yeah, so I don't know. I love it. Like he's very very good. I think this was Balfour's. I don't know. I think this was his first start. I just got on the Astros, so I honestly don't know.
We just got a crisp "fuck you, Kevin" from you.
Yeah. Sorry, you just don't have enough plate appearances. That's why I can't vote for you. That's what I meant for sure. DCM, Dakota, Carolina, Montana on the Astros. I think that's going to be an All-Star game representative, especially after. Fuck, am I in the AL now?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially after. Who is our competition then? In my head, for some reason, I always had DCM versus Forehead Jones, but they're in different leagues.
Let me think. First base, AL. Shit. I don't think it's as close as National League at all.
Well, we say that, and then
yeah,
we realize we start talking about stuff, and then we realize that there's someone else out there that's
when we get angry emails.
Yeah, from our viewers. Yeah.
They take the time to email us specifically.
I guess when we talk about All-Star Game implication, we should probably see what the races are like. Yeah,
there's just so many fucking players in this league now.
There is. But you know what? I was gonna say this thing helps us. It helps me stay interested in all the other games and actually kind of look out, for stuff going on throughout the league.
Who goes to the Jay and Kevin team to get their extremely accurate news anyway?
Oh yeah, exactly. The Mariners. Who do you think goes for them?
The Mariners are a pickle. They're really good. They're one of the best offensive teams, so they have a lot of guys who stick out. Like Atkins and Kadobi, they have exactly the same. Do they have the same average? I can't trust these box scores anymore. I just know that they're both really, really good, and then you get guys like Leal and Ripley, who's really good. It's just the Mariners are the opposite of a lot of these teams where it's I don't know, none of these guys are really All-Star game worthy. Mariners have a bunch of guys who are All-Star game worthy, or at least equally All-Star game worthy.
Kadobi is actually having a very I honestly had not heard his name before, but he's having a very good season.
I would say Kadobi, yeah.
Yeah, 20 plate appearances, 9 hits, a couple of walks in there. Yeah, no, they're having a pretty good season.
The outfield for the All-Star game is very, I feel shiftable. Because it's just outfielders rather than just left field. At least I'm pretty sure. You just voted for outfielders instead of specific positions. So I feel
think so too.
It's very easy to okay, well maybe there's clear dominance in his position, but there might not be clear dominance in this other outfield position. So he might be able to take that spot instead.
Yeah,
I think
it's gonna be interesting talking about All-Star Game snubs after the things come out.
Oh yeah, well, it's really cool that we've gotten this up to the All-Star game already. That's
yeah,
really
that is sweet. Yeah.
But that's all the games we have, but that's not the entire show. We're gonna have a few more segments, and we're gonna start with a miniature make a case. And yeah, so we have the nice intro music right here. And the make a case will be who won the Corbett McBaseball face trade. This is a make a case I've been wanting to do for a while, but we've had trouble setting up an actual episode. So we're going to have a mini episode here. So Kev's doing McBaseball face, and how about you start while I look up some things?
Sure. So the trade was what? Do you remember exactly what the trade terms were? I'm just thinking about it in terms of McBaseball face straight out for Kyle Corbett, but I know there was some other people in there, right?
Tampa Bay receives McBaseball face and DeMondre Bradford, who's by the way on the Expos now. I don't know how he got there. He's on the Expos now.
Who the fuck?
The Red Sox received Kyle Corbett, Jay Money, Wade Wilson, who's on the Astros now, and Gregory Polanco, who is probably dead in a ditch somewhere.
Okay, yeah. So, I'll say, straight up, I think the Devil Rays definitely won that. McBaseball face he's a really good player. Their outfield is, I don't know. I don't want to say their outfield is, I guess they're kind of struggling a little bit. They have a lot of newer guys there. Connor. I think he was on your team, right? McRediger.
Yeah.
McRediger. The new, the new signing. They signed a couple of like last session, I think. Ola. I don't know how to say his fucking name. Babatunde. Babatunde. In the left field. They have a lot of newer guys, and then they have Dom. Who's hitting 200 on the season, and Javier, who's hitting 167 on the season. Their outfield is just a little bit, a little bit rough, especially after they traded away Peckershine. They actually traded away Peckershine to the Astros, and he was their other good outfield player. So they're pretty strong at every position, which is very important. Like, depth is really important for a team like them, because of how their GM plays their players. Their GM consistently, like we said, kind of flips their roster almost completely per game. So their depth is very, very, very important, especially for that team. Baseball is just a cornerstone of their outfield. I think in the long run, it's going to be better for them. If you look at the stats right now, it might be very, very even. But just the fact that they're weak at the position, and they got even weaker after they traded away Peter Peckershine. Yeah, I think they definitely won that because of that. Baseball-y, he's a personality too, and the Devil Rays always have those guys. The Devil Rays have a bunch of guys who are characters. So yeah, I don't know. I think it was a good trade for them.
Okay. Kyle Corbett, 6 for 12, 500 batting average. Jay Money, 7 for 20, a 350 batting average. Gregory Polinko, 3 for 9, a 333 batting average. And there's one guy that they don't have anymore named Wade Wilson. And you know what they got for him? Ravitsu Sirambato, who had a really good game this session against whoever the fuck they were playing, the Tigers. So, which is actually his old team, but I digress. I think it's a clear. The Red Sox didn't only win this; they decimated this trade. This is just one of many trades that just started up their surprisingly efficient and effective rebuild, just mid-season rebuild, and it's just really smart trade for Mr. Satan himself, Lindros, who I think he did well in this one. I think he went for a lot of low risk, high reward players, and a lot of these guys were very new. Jay Money was not, but he's still doing very well, and even Witt still feels bad about trading him. But I mean, he's picked up very well in Boston. But I mean, Gregory, even this guy who I feel like I thought he was like away. I thought he was like out. I thought he wasn't in the league anymore. He's hitting 3-3-3, one for 3, with a run and an RBI. I like this trade a lot, and meanwhile, Devil Rays got baseball-y, he's good, but also they got Demondre Bradford, who's just like schlubbing away on the Expos right now.
Well, we don't know what they flipped him for.
Oh, that is true. You should.
Yeah, I should. That might be part of my my argument.
Ooh, they didn't flip him. He got released. Right. So that's just a free play right there. Oh my god, Red Sox! I love Peppers is a freaking GMing genius. I love that guy because not only Lindros made this trade, but Lindros made this trade, but Peppers just went on and like continue. Like I think he's a better GM than Lindros, but that's only because I hate Lindros.
Oh, you think Peppers is a better GM than Lindros?
Well, Lindros only had like
nice,
2 trades.
That's bold. That's bold, Jay.
Wow, being sarcastic. You're a sarcastic boy.
Yeah, I don't know. I okay. If you look at the whole picture, yeah, Boston. Here. Boston probably got a lot more out of it, in terms of like throughout their whole team, but Boston needed it. Boston struggled at the beginning of the season. Maybe this is one of the reasons why they're doing so well now. But Boston did need those, decent players at different positions. The Devil Rays have always had a pretty decent team, pretty decent depth, and baseball is still kind of just holding them there in the outfield. That's their guy in the outfield. I know, like I said, they have a lot of other outfielders, but that's their guy that's doing well right now, especially after trading away Peter Peckershine. Good trade for both teams in general, but yeah.
I guess you could say that Tampa, what they lost wasn't really that harmful to them. Which I
Yeah,
guess is a pretty decent argument.
I think if you compare, the players that they lost in the positions, they're okay. They have very good players at a lot of positions. They're very strong at catcher, second base, third base. They're a good team. So
I do think though that this is, I mean, just looking at how Boston has completely revamped themselves, I think this was step one, and I think it just really helped. I think all these players have contributed in some way. Like Ravitsu, if you add him, he had a slow start, but then he had 3 hits, I think, in this most recent game. I have it up right now. 2 hits, and 2 at bats. So even like the guy who's not technically on the trade, but is still sort of it, like he technically is a product of this trade, like the fringe guy, the fringe guy, like advanced fringe as opposed to Polanco, who's just normal fringe. Like all of these guys have just
advanced fringe.
SpongeBob memes.
Yeah, so I guess thanks, Lindros.
Thanks, Lindros.
Thanks, Lindros.
You can quote me on that. All right, so we're gonna go into our next topic. If you think I won, we don't have a thing, so just tell me, ping me on Discord and tell me.
Just tell me I won. Okay, yeah, what's our next segment, Jay?
So our next segment is Kevin J discuss something stupidly specific for a necessarily long amount of time. That was a tongue twister and a half.
What's our topic today, Jay?
Oh well, that's a good question there, Kevin. Our topic for today is players whose names start with Z. And this is not going to be an argument. This is just going to be a nice, relaxing discussion.
Yeah, we're just going to talk about it.
So who do you think is the best player whose name starts with Z?
Undoubtedly. There's no question about it. Ziggy Cedar on the Toronto Blue Jays. Do you know if these stats are updated? I'm guessing they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was not doing very well. Yeah. He was not doing very well before that 3 home run game, but now he's decent. I don't know. He's hitting 368 now. His slugging is freaking awesome. He's got 4 home runs on the season now. He's definitely the best player that starts with a Z. I mean, who else do we have in that conversation? Zed Leona on the Washington Nationals.
Zed's sad. He's like a lost boy. He's like a lost child. He's kind of overshadowed by Kolko, and I feel it's sad. I really like these Z players. I think they have a lot of exoticism. And Zed, he is a Discord. He exists. He's a person. So
he is a person.
I mean, two at bats and 0. I hope he gets another chance.
And I think he's been on the team for a while.
Yeah,
right?
Nick, if you're listening to this, I beg of you, give Zed a chance. These Z players need to show that they have a lot to offer. But while we're talking about Z players, I'm going to have to rep my own Z player. And that's
Zach.
Mr. Zach Anderson, Mr. Home Run on his first game that has not been added to his stat sheet for some weird reason. Mr. Zach Anderson. And why is that not added? That's sad. But yeah, but Zach, he's a good presence. He's actually been helping Bay with scouting. He's an overall delight. He's been around a lot. He's part of that little group. But I mean, I have a lot of people like that on my group. So in my team from that group. So there's a lot of friends on my team, and he's one of those people that really help my atmosphere. God, that was so hard to get out of my head.
Oh, like they know each other?
Yeah, there's that group of people that's from like a basketball thing.
Yeah, they all came from something.
They're like half the league.
Yeah. Someone joins it. Oh, that's my, yeah. Well, we got to be careful with that, though, because that's happened before where, someone will join and they're like, oh, that's my friend. And then they end up.
I mean, I feel like it's legitimate. If it's not, then I've lost half.
Yeah, no, that'd be wild. That's a lot of work to keep up, if it wasn't, especially for that big group of guys. Who else were we talking? There was another one that we missed.
Well, I would just like to say that I think Ziggy's the best Ziggy when it comes to just overall. I think Zach though has the potential to become the best Z, or Zed if you're Ewell.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a lot of good things to say about these Z guys.
I looked at them. I was thinking of a topic that we could discuss for this segment, and just it stuck out to me. I was like, these guys are are amazing. They're not amazing enough to remember this last guy. Who is this last Z? Is
I
there a
don't know.
last Z?
Yeah, there is. We were looking at it and we missed him. It was like I don't know. It was a normal name, you know, like Zach's a normal name. It was like
We're like Zaquisha.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Sequisha. I feel like he was on the Dodgers. Does that sound right?
Well, I'm looking at the Dodgers right now, and he's not on the Dodgers.
Yeah, he's definitely on the Dodgers.
This is a special thing because like the Z's are so they encapsulate so much that they even encapsulate nothingness. So we think that they exist, but they don't. It's like the missing Z. It's like Schrodinger's Z.
I'm struggling here. We definitely pointed him out, and he definitely exists, right? Can we just?
This isn't. I can't like control FZ because that's not gonna really be beneficial.
Yeah. Is there any people with Z's in their name?
AZ Chapman.
AZ Chapman. Yeah. I like that name in general.
AZ is a treat because AZ is like a Schwizzle story where he was just kind of.
Oh really?
Except he wasn't on like a roster. He was on a free agency, and he was on free agency for like 5 months, and nobody gave a shit about him, and it was really sad. He was kind of like a lost puppy. And like Arizona, we were gonna do like a 6-team trade, and like Arizona wanted to like sort of pad the trade with another person, so they were just like combing the free agents, and then they found AZ Chapman, and AZ was like, "I want to join you," and he was originally gonna be traded to the Pirates, and he agreed to it, but it ended up being called off, and now he's a Diamondback, which is good because I think he's an A's fan. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah,
he's still from Arizona, so whatever. But it's a nice little story. But yeah, this Phantom Z, I have no idea who he is.
Zachary Benz.
Zachary Benz.
I
passed that 5 times. He is All-Star Game man.
Oh,
maybe he is better than Mr. Ziggy. Yeah, fuck Ziggy. Ziggy's
fuck Ziggy. Ziggy, you're awful. Get out of here. No, Zach Benz. Yeah, you know, he's probably going to be the Expos representative, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say so.
So, no, yeah, he's pretty good. Even without hitting 4 home runs like Ziggy has.
That's pretty good.
You know,
too. He has a Ziggy has a 0 difference too.
Oh my god.
Ooh,
well,
Ziggy,
Ziggy's slugging is ridiculous right now. Here's the thing. If Ziggy wasn't so like under, I don't know, below average before his huge game, that dude would be like amazing right now. But he's good.
You just don't think you just don't think he'll keep it up. You just can't believe him.
I can't. You know, I can argue against his consistency just because
he's outside your window. You're throwing his stuff out the window, and he's like,
"Yeah,
I can change. I'll hit 3 home runs. See, poof, poof, poof. And he's like, please, see, I can do it. I can do offense." But you in your heart, you can't believe him.
Ziggy, I'm with Zachary now.
Once a mediocre Z, always a mediocre Z.
I also I think this is something very important. Zachary also has another Z at the end. I think that just kind of balances his name out.
He starts with a Z and ends with a Z. It's like Zachary, a well-rounded plot.
Benz, I like it. I like it a lot.
That means he's rich too, because he's a part of the Benz family.
Benz, yeah, exactly. Oh, this guy just gets better and better the more you talk about him. The more you look into this guy, I'm impressed. I think
Ziggy is that guy who you meet in high school, where he's like 6 foot. He's on the football team, and he's like, "Hey, babe, what's up?" And you're like, Ziggy. And then, but like later, you find like a guy who's like he's in the library. He likes books. He likes math. He likes treating his manager well. And then you're like, "Oh, what's your name?" And he's like, "My name's Zachary." And you're like, Zachary. And so Zachary is, I think, the best Z, the best Z,
for sure,
the best whatever, the best zebra.
Sure. The best Z.
Ziggy could hit 1 billion home runs, and I won't go back to him.
1 billion's a lot.
Anytime he could just be like, "Nope, I'm not providing for you."
His slugging would be through the roof if he hit 1 billion home runs.
Well, I'm talking hyperbole.
Yeah. Let's get Zachary some recognition. Let's get his name out there, guys.
Zachary Benz.
Jack Cacciatore Jack was also pretty good. Oh, I guess he was. He struggled a little bit the past game, I think.
What is this? Jack Cazzatori. What? It's not Cazzatori.
What?
What is this?
What?
Do you know what kind of segment this is?
What is this?
It's not talk about whatever player you
whoa,
want.
whoa, 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 whoa!
What is
Hold on.
this? Why are you diverting from this sacred holy?
I thought his name was Zach Cazzatori. My bad. Oh man, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Zachary Benz. Oh, Kyle actually helped us out. Kyle actually gave us the answer before we. Sorry, Kyle. I wasn't looking at chat when we were trying to figure out who the other Zachary was.
Yeah, he pinged you twice.
We were struggling too. Oh God.
Kyle's been in the background with like the cue cards.
Yeah, Kyle's very helpful, and like we get carried away talking, and then we look at the chat, and like 5 minutes before he like found what we were looking for.
Oh yeah, Doc brought up. How about manager, the man formerly known as Zum, whoever the hell he is. I don't even know who he is, but I mean, if he's that low profile, he must be pretty decent.
How did he do in that old folks home game? I don't know. What do you think about that, by the way? You didn't play in that, did you?
I didn't. I wasn't invited. Or if I was, I wasn't paying attention.
Drama.
I'm playing in the All-Star Game 1, though. So
sick.
That's good.
I didn't know there was an All-Star Game 1, so thanks for the announcement.
Yeah, we have Zar.
Zarzar. I called him Zarzar Banks in my write-up. in my who's not going to be a captain write-up.
If we're counting last names, I guess we should.
Yeah, there's a couple more Z's if you count last names, but I don't think any of them. I still don't think any of them are as good as what's his face? My boy Zachary Benz.
Yeah, absolutely. Zachary's my favorite MLR player.
Yeah, Zachary. Yeah, that's it. I mean, there's no argument anymore. Zachary Ziff, Artie Ziff. I like Ziff.
Ziff's pretty cool. He should come back to the Discord.
Oh yeah, he still hasn't come back.
Well, join us next week when we talk about Qs, and we start with the best Q, which is Corehead Jones.
Ooh, I like the quota. No, that doesn't work. The quota. Carolina, Montana.
Quota is an actual word, so I thought you were talking about like the quota.
The quota.
What quota? Okay, so I guess we'll go into our last segment.
Yeah. That was an unnecessary long amount of time.
That was a very long amount of time on players to start with Z. If you want any more of those, just give us some weird, stupid, specific.
Oh yeah, give us some stuff to talk about. That'll be fun.
We've thought about like even more specific, stupid things, but we wanted to start with a bit of an easy one, or at least easy relatively. Session 9. Okay, let's look forward to Session 9. Session 8 is not over yet, but I feel like it'd be very, very nice to kind of go over, see who's going to win each game. This is going to be obviously a very crucial game because of the All-Star game that's going to come up right afterwards.
Well, I don't know. I really don't know how much it's going to affect it because I think voting closes like 3 days into it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
can we just pretend it affects it?
Yeah. Oh, it'll definitely. You know what it'll affect is our snub episode where we talk about who gets snubbed.
Ooh, yeah, you're right. That'll be fun.
Like, just imagine, I don't know, fucking Gare gets voted in, and then, what's his face? The other guy.
Yeah, what's his face?
The Russian dude.
Andropov.
Yeah, Andropov, and he gets like 3 homers or something. I'd be pissed. All right, just because of how voting closed.
For right now, let's look at our first game. Who do you pick with Arizona at Oakland?
I'm gonna take Oakland. I'm gonna take the hot hand here. Oakland's had a good couple of games, and Arizona's struggling. Arizona's Arizona. Sorry, Doc. I love you.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me do some nice stuff here. I might have to agree with you. I love Arizona. Whoever they are, Arizona. I gotta make that really small, don't I? But I'd have to go with the same. To be honest, I feel like I had a lot of qualms about their pitching. Like, it's just South Shark. But even like Schwizzle's been doing good. They just been on an upswing. I feel like they could only do better, and I think they're just gonna continue to do better. I think Sal's gonna pitch again, and he's gonna dominate. I mean, Diamondbacks have a good offense, but it's South Shark, and South Shark's return to Cy Young form. So I see this as being like actually a surprisingly close pitching thing that's going to end
Yeah.
with Oakland winning. San Francisco at Los Angeles.
Why don't you go first on that one?
Yeah, I think San Francisco. San Francisco's this one's not even transparent. Fuck. San Francisco is they're just too good. I think that Los Angeles has too many pitching problems that it just makes it really hard to go against a team with such a surprisingly decent offense with like guys like Antropov, and I think the pitching of the Giants are good enough to stave the sort of hot Dodgers offense. So I think the Giants are going to win a pretty close game.
Yeah, it's the Giants for me too. I think just the fact that the Giants have their pitching down. They started Matt Habipetti, whatever the hell his name is, this session, and they know that they can get a couple of good innings out of him. So if they really want to win this game, they start Peters. They get a couple good innings out of him and relieve him with Matt Habipetti, and shouldn't have a problem winning that game out.
All right, Washington and Milwaukee.
That's Montreal.
What?
Isn't it? MTL?
The problem is that if it's MTL, then yeah, I brought up the image thing earlier. Yeah, it is Montreal. Montreal.
Oh, cool.
My bad. So, Montreal.
So for that, I'll say I'm going to pick Washington to win this. I think this is going to be their breakout game. And by breakout game, I don't mean, they're going to pull a Cardinals and win 5 in a row. I think the Expos have been kind of, they've been, what's the word? I don't know. They haven't been doing as well as they started off doing. And we did talk about a little bit of their weaknesses this episode, like their what the fuck, that Giants logo. We talked about their offense, they don't have a lot of like flashy offensive guys. Their pitching hasn't been as good as of lately. I think it's going to be close, but I think Washington's going to do it.
I accidentally duplicated the Washington because I'm not entirely sure, because like I want to be like, haha, Washington's gonna win, but you know what, I'm gonna go and I'm actually gonna say the Expos, because the Expos, I mean, as much as they've been kind of mediocre with a lot of their aspects, I think that their pitching is still pretty solid. I think that Washington's coming off of a very difficult pitching game, and I don't think their offense is going to be able to hold the weight of of kind of an upset for Hildebrandt. I don't know if Hildebrandt's going to start, but he probably is going to pitch in it, and I think that's actually going to lead to a late go ahead, or actually walk off, maybe go ahead or walk off win for the Expos. So I think actually the Expos are going to pull it out. I think it's a good game to go, oh, maybe the underdog is going to win, but I don't see that happening, to be honest. Yeah. Pittsburgh versus Philadelphia. You want me to go first on that one?
Yeah, we'll just alternate.
That's an interesting one. Connection, because I really want to say Philadelphia because fuck it, we won against the Cardinals, which were the number one team. We're gonna have Quinn out there, but I think Quinn's gonna surprise a lot of people. I think he's due for a good surprise. I feel like if not, we have very, very good relievers in this case backing him up in Urich or probably Urich, but we'll see. I might mix it up. But pitching's pretty decent on this team, on this Phillies team. Offense is coming alive. Pittsburgh has shown themselves to be able to collapse against teams that are maybe worse than them, like the Cardinals at one point. They collapsed hardcore against them. So yeah, I think that the Phillies, I think they're going to be able to pull it off.
I want to pick the Phillies here, but I think, almost against a couple of teams, I think this session I would pick the Phillies, but I think Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh looks good here. I'm going to pick Pittsburgh. They have not started Vader in I don't know. He didn't start last session. I don't think he pitched at all last session. So, yeah, I think Pittsburgh, the Vader versus Hudson Quinn matchup will be interesting. But I think Pittsburgh will. Yeah, it'll be close, but I think Pittsburgh will win it.
Okay. Cleveland versus Toronto.
Cleveland, Toronto. Toronto's coming off a real good game. I think Toronto's going to win this one. They're
That's a big logo. let me just shrink that a little bit. Sorry, go on.
Oh man, I just saw it on the stream. Yeah,
I can reverse it too.
Damn, that's high quality. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Blue Jays just they're coming off a real good game. I think Lane Drew's probably gonna. I think he's probably gonna like have a very good season after hitting his first home run. I think this is the start of something beautiful, and Toronto's gonna win that one.
It's like that. There's like a High School Musical song.
Yeah, it's sort of something new.
We know. Exactly. We get it. We get it.
Exactly.
Yeah, Toronto. I don't see anything else. I don't see the Cleveland Indians being able to best them. Toronto's really good right now. They're only getting better. They're probably going to be the best team in the league per power rankings. I don't see it being anything but Toronto winning this one, and probably by a lot, but who knows? Indians might surprise. Detroit at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is coming off of a very tough 2-1 loss, but I think that doesn't deter them. I think they're still a good team regardless. Oh god, this transparent really poorly is with the black and shit. But yeah, I think that it's a loss, but it's not like a debilitating loss, and I think they're gonna be able to shape up and do well against the Tigers. I don't think the Tigers are a very big threat against them. I'm gonna play it safe and go Tampa.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Tampa too. Like we've been talking about, Whit Bass rotates his guys out a lot. He didn't have a lot of his amazing players playing this game. I think Baseball-y and Reynolds is pretty good. And Red Trapper's pretty good. He had them playing, but aside from that, he had some people that he traded for. Dom, who's been struggling a little bit. So I think he's gonna have JD and the people who are in Eco this session pretty much playing this next game, and I think it'll go well for them. So Tampa Bay.
All right, Minnesota, Houston. I guess you can give me.
Yeah, Minnesota, Houston. Houston, we've come off a pretty good win against the Mariners. Minnesota lost convincingly to the Pirates. I think we have the momentum. I think we're gonna pull out a lot of stuff from under our sleeve this game. So I'm gonna go and say the Astros.
Okay, let me just put your logo here real quick. I assume Mr. Timber is going to be starting this upcoming session, and I think that's just enough to give the Twins the edge. I very much respect the Astros, and I think it will be an interesting game. I think the Twins are going to edge it out just simply on pitching alone. I feel like Astros have a lot of trouble pitching, especially without Who's, and I think the Twins are going to sort of dust themselves off and get a good low-scoring win. St. Louis versus Colorado, though. This one's going to be interesting. Because St. Louis is like the team... I'll go first. St. Louis is the team that's like high-risers recently, and then Colorado's like a little bit more recent than them. They've been starting to rise, too. Yeah, I'm going to go Colorado. I think... oh my god, this one's so big. Jeez, these are like 5,000 pixels long. Yeah, I'd go Colorado. I think Colorado's on a little bit more of a high, a winner's high, and I think St. Louis, they expected to win against Philadelphia. They didn't win against Philadelphia. I think Colorado's going to use that sort of disappointment to their advantage and pull this one out.
I get a lot of shit from Colorado for for hating on, well, not hating on them, but for how I treat Colorado. But in this case, I think it's warranted. I think the Cardinals are a really good team, and their loss to the Phillies. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna affect them as much. Like I said before, 5 wins in a row. They have the they have the potential to just still be a good team. So I'm gonna say St. Louis over Colorado.
All right, and how about Baltimore at Seattle?
Baltimore at Seattle. Baltimore has very good pitching. Seattle had a monster offensive game this session, and they still could not win. I'm gonna go Baltimore.
Man, that was gonna be my like special pick. Yeah, I'm definitely going Baltimore simply because I don't know. I see something in them. I see a lot of soul and like interesting, like unique things about them. Don't talk about my use of the word interesting. Um, they've just got they've got a new sort of feel to them, like a revigorated sort of feel to them that I think is gonna take them far in the next few sessions. And I think session 9 is where it really starts to get interesting for the Orioles.
And this is interesting. Fuck. And this is
Intriguing,
intriguing
amazing.
because if you their game's still going on, so we potentially just picked a 2-6 team
I
unanimously to beat Seattle.
I totally think they were going to win against Cleveland.
I think so too. I think they're going to pull it out.
They've got a lot of heart. I feel like they've got a lot more heart than Cleveland, and I think that's going to give them the win. And then they're going to go to Seattle, and they're going to take that heart, take the power that their GM gives them, and really do something well. Oh, this next one's extremely interesting. It's extremely. It's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a very fun game. Texas versus Boston, and man, this is going to be hard. Both these teams are just such up and comers. They're such Goliaths recently. I'm going to give it to Boston because normally they're big the big hitting guys, but they've shown that they can also pitch this session. So there's nothing to really say that they're going to lose to the Rangers. To be honest, Rangers have a good offense, but I think that Baltimore has shown themselves to be the jack of all trades. Just a very, very solid ball club. They're just going to keep winning, I feel.
Something interesting about these two teams.
Really?
it looks like the Orioles. It looks like the Orioles. The little feet for the Red Sox under the Orioles' head looks really funny. Like he's walking. Okay, something that's unique about these two teams is that they've both been, they've both had very big controversies with the whole alt gate. Obviously Boston having true. Lindros, and then the perfect game or no hitter or whatever in Texas. I'm gonna go Texas just because Barney Summers did not get a hit this game, so far at least. Morello is gonna come off a pitching performance. It's either very good or very bad, and that's going to give him some light of fire under his ass, I think. I don't know. I just and that looks like that's his body, the T. Oh my god, I love the Orioles.
T posing.
I love the Orioles so much.
Okay, and finally Milwaukee at San Diego.
Milwaukee at San Diego. This one's a little harder than you might think. Just kind of like, at a glance. But I'm still going to go Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee's going to, keep up the pitching performance. Dan's a very good pitcher. He's back, to say the least, I guess. Milwaukee's my pick.
I'm not as sold on the Milwaukee train as I used to. So I'm going to be very radical and just go Padres. I think they're going to get an upset here. And I think Padres are going to finally get like a big break that they've been kind of looking for. This is the biggest one so far. This is huge. Oof, no. Kevin's picks stay up there. Yeah, I think I don't really have a particular reason. Half of it's just to get Preller off my ass and onto yours so that he doesn't complain to me and he complains to you. But yeah, just sometimes one of these games, there's always just going to be that one game that's like you scratch your head and you go like, how did that happen? Like this team's completely under-equipped. But I don't know, Brewers are like a 500 team to me, and I think the Padres are going to be able to pick one off of them, like vultures circling in the desert.
It's funny that you say that about the Brewers, because when I think of them, and I see what you mean about a middling team, whatever. But when I think of them, good pitching, Dan, and a good offense. So I don't know. It is interesting that you say that. Also, I'm excited for that Forehead Jones versus Dan Jerzone matchup. Pretty excited for that.
I'm thinking of their offense. Scottish Twiggy. I mean,
Scottish Twiggy. Their catchers, Boris Jackman and the other one, Spaghetti Hitchens. I love Spaghetti so much.
Spaghetti's had some terrible sessions recently, though.
Yeah, I know, but he started off so strong that he's still decent offensive production for them. James Rapones. I love all the guys on that team. They're just all so good. It's not fair for me to talk about.
All right, so so these are our picks for session 9. We're gonna see who I guess gets the most correct. We have a lot of dupes, but we have a lot of differences too. Baltimore's very interesting. We both are.
Yeah.
We're both very keen on them.
So what are our games that are different? Oh, we actually have a lot that are different. We only picked the A's,
Giants, Blue Jays, Rays, and Orioles. That's 5 out of 11. So yeah, I guess more.
Yeah, that's a good spread.
Okay, so we'll figure that out. We're gonna get transition into closing thoughts, where we just sort of, I guess, say what we need to say to end the podcast. Kev, do you have anything?
Yeah. I like that. I like that slide. I want some feedback, man. Let us know. Let us know what you thought about this episode. I know it was a little, I don't know how long. It's like 2 hours something.
I mean, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I know.
Kyle likes this. We're actually making very, very good time.
Yeah. Just let us know. Let us know what you think. If you like the segments, if you didn't, if you think we talked too much about the games at the beginning, I don't know. Let us know. I'm really interested to see what people think. So
we definitely want to have like a big, sort of diverse pool of segments and different things. Like we don't want to be like confined to one sort of idea. We just want to be like have this be our sort of pool of interesting things to talk about and discuss and maybe ponder or whatnot, and just like anything MLR. We want to like we have ideas where we like pull people in and like I wouldn't say they're skits, but like we just have a lot of new weird ideas that we've been kind of pondering recently that we definitely want to try out, but we do need your help and we need a lot of user feedback, and we would love to have more ideas from the users or the watchers in this case.
Yeah, and guests aren't out of the question, Yeah,
we definitely do want to have guests, but we just want to test the waters here.
Yeah.
Plus, nobody wanted to join apparently, so. But it's mostly testing the waters for sure.
Yeah. We were serious, by the way, about if you want to do, what were you saying? If you the commentating or the call is like,
we still want to. We're really bad at that type of stuff. At like live doing that. We know Scotty Smalls is a beast at that. But if you want to like come in and like, I don't know, do some fun shit, like maybe do some calls, maybe play. I don't really want to spoil anything.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
Yeah, we have a few things up our sleeves, but just like DM us. We can give you some more info. You can tell us if you're interested, and it might like have you on for like 15 minutes. It might have you on for like an hour. We might have you on for the whole entire show. It's just we're gonna work on this. We're gonna try to keep it fresh and fun.
Yep. And then I also want to announce, or Kyle wants us to announce, that tomorrow MLR Tonight will be Kyle and Pie and Pops.
Ooh.
7:30 p.m. EST. Be sure to tune in. That'll be interesting. That's like an MLR Tonight episode. And a fireside chat.
There you go. You got it.
That's awesome. Yeah. That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that.
Other than that, I mean, I don't know how many people are listening now. I was thinking about maybe doing like a call-in thing, but I don't think there's anybody listening right now. So, plus we might have to wait a little bit too long. So I guess we'll just end it right here. We might do a call-in next time. But you guys should see us do another one of these. It was fun. So, just
thanks for listening.
And good night, guys.
Good night.